That's leading towards a target of 888, and it was apparently set to hit today or tomorrow. So I was very curious over that 760 that we were able to achieve already as a high of day. You are, and I have a top side of 1283. What are your comments on that for the immediate short term? A week relative to the time frame now?
I would bet you dollars to donuts this thing cracks 10 by Friday, easy.
What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again. This is ARCa coming at you on a Taco Tuesday. I mean, guys, you heard it. You heard the man himself at the very beginning of this thread. That was actually Daniel Borders speaking about the targets that he is expecting for this coming Friday for FNGR. Very interesting set of questions that I had the pleasure of asking him during our live stream today, right? So if you tuned in, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for interacting and showing the support to the channel and to the team. So we're going to go ahead and continue streaming every day, 6:30 to around 6:40 a.m. Pacific time to around 10 a.m. All right, so go ahead and tune in. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, and make sure to hit that bell notification so that you are aware whenever I am posting or streaming live. Right, but anyway, let's go ahead and dive into ticker symbol FNGR here, team. So we're going to look at our algos, right? The first algo that we're going to look at here is the ARQ armor, and this is the very indicator, the very popular one that has that secret sauce for the strategy, short and long, right? So as you can see here, at the closing of this candle, right at about 721. On the 30-minute time frame, FNGR printed that go ahead, right? It printed that long signal. And if we were to have been following the strategy behind the armor indicator, then at this moment of time, we would be at about 9.5% up on the day, right? So very, very impressive times here coming out of this algo. One other one that we want to take a look at to see if we can get confirmation for a continuation. Of course, this is a shorter time frame, so it's also very important for us to kind of keep that in mind, right? Because if we don't, then there could be some pressures to the downside. It's best for you to combine your algos. If you're already a holder of these indicators, it's best for you to pair it with your discretion, with other strategies, with other methods as well. Okay, so Composure, this algorithm is the one that particularly shows us manipulation in the markets, right? So we're not looking for manipulation right now, but what I am looking for is actually these yellow diamonds. And what these yellow diamonds are telling us is that this is usually considered a continuation of the current trend. All right, so one more thing that we want to talk about here. Okay, so let me go ahead and just get rid of the Composure algo and focus on what is happening here, because we talked about this I think a couple times already. We spoke about the potential of breaking out of this ascending channel. Now this is a rare breakout. I don't know if you remember me saying that. So it is a rare breakout because it is a bearish formation by nature, right? So I like the price action. I like everything going on right now. In fact, you can clearly see here by hourly time frame increasing volume over the last few days, and also the fact that we have inclining price action. That is still bull strength and bull control, right? So now, in order for us to validate or to gain a price objective here, we would actually have to take the measurement of the channel itself. So take a trend line from the very top side of the channel all the way to the bottom side of the channel and apply it to the first candle that is breaking clean outside of the resistance line, and now it's on that support conversion, right? So let's go ahead and do that. As you can see here, we are being shown a target of about $8.61 per the formation breakout price objective. Now that's important because I know that my avid followers will know exactly what I'm going to say next, right? So this is really pertinent because of the historical volatility backtest, right? So that particular backtest is leading the price action. First of all, let's just go ahead and talk to the new viewers, right? This is volatility represented by BBWP. This is stochastic momentum. The profile between both is usually what I pair, right? So volatility is direction neutral, When we are expanding, that means we're hitting the gas on volume, right? We're trading more shares as this expands. When we trade less shares, we start to contract, right? So, but upside can happen whether it's expansion or contraction. All right, so what you can see here is that we have still an upside pivot on stochastic momentum on the 12 hours. So let's look at the daily because that's when I did the back test. So the 12 hour still, the reason why I have the 12 hour up is because I wanted to know that the 12 hour still has an upside pivot because the shorter time frames cascade into the larger time frames. All right, so everything is looking good. The upside pivot is still there and we're still, critically expanding here, right? So that is consistent of a continuation to the upside. Now, throughout the entire trading history of the FNGR asset on the daily time frame, I have taken note of any time that volatility has contracted into these critical levels, which is within the 15th percentile. And I have paired it with stochastic momentum. So particularly when stochastics makes an upside move and we start a contraction phase, particularly beyond the 15th percentile, both moving average and the volatility component, I've taken note of every single iteration where that has happened throughout the entire trading history, meaning that I've taken the duration of the iteration, the upside thrust, and the frequency, right? The amount of times that the profile of volatility versus momentum have guessed the upside correctly via these green lines versus incorrectly. Okay, so that has given us this data set. So the samples are telling us that we have 20 total iterations throughout the daily time frame, 17 of which have been guessed correctly to the upside, and that gives us a very nice upside accuracy of 85%. And the average upside thrust came out, or AKA your mean, came out to 33.40. Now, from this mean, I did calculate the standard deviation. And from the standard deviation, using the mean as well, I also calculated the upper bound of the first standard deviation up here on the bell curve and the lower bound of the first standard deviation. So our standard deviation came out to 35.12, which is the 68% of the results. All right, so that's your average performer. Now, that was completed yesterday. If you were watching the video, that really long video from last night, we completed this standard deviation move literally during the video yesterday, right? And it was really cool to see because you must know that the signal fired back here on September 5th. Okay, and we're currently on the 12th, right? So the signal fired here at the opening of this candle September 5th, when volatility started to expand, when we had that upside pivot with stochastics validating the entire move to the upside, and we have moved we have moved that the entirety of that move, right, into the resistance range that we spoke about. 752, we spoke about it in the video, said it very likely a pullback. We got a very interesting pullback and then recovered. All right, so the next target is the one that I'm particularly curious about, and that would be the upper bound of the first standard deviation. 68.52% is suggesting a topside target of $8.88. That is why it's curious, because right here, the psychological price objective from this formation is 861, and it's meeting very nicely with the statistics, isn't it? So 861 to 888, having the 2.618 at 882, you can just see how Confluence is speaking here. It's just so much rhyming to the target. And I personally said yesterday during Williams' live stream that I was expecting $8 today. Price action has topped out at $7.90, came in a little bit short. But I do expect. We could always face a little bit of a pullback, right, to gain some more buy side liquidity, some more buy side interest, and this thing can rip still, right? So what's interesting here is that we're starting to get the openings of the candles to separate from each other greatly. So that's already a good sign of serious pressure towards the short sellers, right, towards the short bias. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. And now that we know that we have that target on lock, right, with the 888 or anywhere between 861 to 888 at the statistical upper bound of the first standard deviation target. Okay, so that's it's looking magical. It's looking very good. Okay, so now please take a look at this chart. I want you to just observe here how the market closure today was at 783. After hours, the post market, we are currently sitting at around 790, I think. right? So and that right, it already closed. So I think we ended up closing where? Let me see. This is the bi-weekly 12-hour time frame. Yeah, we ended up closing at oh my goodness. Are you serious? Yeah, dead 790. We closed it. Kept it. Very, very, very impressive. Okay, so yeah, this is another ARQ algorithm here, and this is a momentum-based trend indicator with pivot notifications, right? So it'll tell you when the pivots are happening, likely to be printed during that time frame. So this is the bi-weekly chart, and we have noticed here a very, very large triangle. In fact, our analyst and my apprentice Sebastian Lim pointed this out manually, and then I opened up Trendline, the ARQ Trendline algo, and it pointed out at the same thing. And that was indicating that we were at a critical resistance right here on the previous bi-daily candle, which, by the way, closed just a couple days ago. So now we're opening this brand new candle, suggesting a continuation to the upside and a complete breakout from a couple. I mean, this could have been, a few more months. This could have been considered a multi-year reversion. Right, so this is just incredible accuracy here in that resistance level. So we finally broke out of this since let's see, February 2021. Right, so now it's it's quite a big deal what's happening here. Now, if you pair that with the Gaussian channel, you'll see also that the Gaussian channel is starting to break out of this. But yeah, the important thing here is that this has some targets to observe, right? So let's just, I guess we can speculate a little bit. Let's say that the following bi-weekly candle in about 9 days. It's saying that here the bi-weekly would be over in 9 days. So meaning that the next bi-weekly candle would be the one to take us to the upside, right? So let's just say that were the one. The minimum target to the upside would, from your triangle, of course, would be at the breakout candle. So if we do that and apply this to this area, then it takes us to a very curious target as well, and one that we have been talking about too. I personally feel that it's a little, out of my ballpark here, because I am, I'm practicing mathematical models, and they're suggesting slightly lower targets than this. But of course, anything can happen in the markets, and seeing that Daniel Borders during the questions that I had for him, he pretty much said that he himself feels that $50 is too high, but it's the asset is essentially on its way to $30 to $50. So it's very curious that the topside target here is supporting that 40.33 right now. Not only that is that there are other ways to kind of get us to look at that target as well. Okay, so this is this being one of them, right? So if we were to break out from the inverse head and shoulders that we're looking at here, that's already taking us to a target of about 32.02 with the 3-spot 618 at 33.16. Now, of course, we're going to be in price discovery there, so there's nothing for us to kind of determine where that high can be. But if you look over here on the geometrics that are suggesting that top side, right, that from the breakout out of this bullish buy formation breakout being the descending broadening wedge and the inverse head and shoulders, that has the 4-spot 236 and the 4-spot 618, of which I was speaking to Daniel Borders about, of 47.71 to 59.74. So we have some rhyming happening within that $40 to $60 realm, which puts naturally the 50% of returns at 50. So yeah, high speculation here. We must keep in mind. We should probably cross the bridge when we get there, but this is absolutely bullish. We saw yesterday that there could be any type of shakeout, especially during the after hours trading. So we would naturally keep ourselves safe or keep ourselves mindful that can happen, right? So yeah, and this is the Gaussian channel that I was speaking of regarding the bi-weekly time frame, and this is the official breakout here without a touch of the 623 target. So if we are able to maintain this candle and continue on to the upside and clean this within 9 days, yeah, there could be an introduction here to some very nice targets. So I am a fan of it. I am still long, and in fact, I'm considering maybe even closing out some of my winners temporarily, so that I can hit the gas here, because we're essentially validating and confirming our break of resistance here, and that being the $7 target. We had another one at around $7.50 because of yesterday's close, right? So, or yesterday's after hours high. So that's currently what I'm observing right now, and I do believe that we have some thrust to go to the upside. If you are holders of your options contracts, take a look at your September 15th $6 expiries, because those are experiencing your delta is going up closer to $1 right now. You have a gamma leading to around, I think, 16 to 18 cents. It is getting super violent, and those contracts, the $6 contracts, are likely going to start IV pumping even more than they already did. If we are able to maintain the $7.90 close that we got in the after hours through the early pre-market, tomorrow, and this price gaps up, those options contracts are going to be presenting a potential gamma, at least for the shorter term. And also keep in mind that the quad witching is this Friday. That's going to be the closing and expiration of all major contracts, including futures. Okay, so keep an eye on that. It's probably best for you not to have any exposure to options contracts during that over the weekend. So I mean, they're going to be obviously closed, but it's you know what I'm saying here. You have to mind your risk within this. Okay, so last part of the analysis here is in fact the RSI, right? So 30-minute immediate short-term time frame is actually leading into the bullish control zone here, and specifically the gravitational zone. The RSI signal itself is headed towards that upside. SMA 14 is still pivoting towards that upside as well. Very nice. Now, I know it's a little bit of consolidation here on the buy hourly, but that was due to the fact that we were staying within that $7.90 zone for the majority of the close in the after hours trading. But we are absolutely in the gravitational zone of the bull strength percentile right up here, and that is likely to have us be pulled to the upside. 12-hour time frame is getting already a little overextended, but the upside pivot is still real. A little bit of slowing down, but likely happening because of what I just said, right? We were sticking around that 790 for so long. We were just kind of consolidating within that area. But if you observe here, the time frame that was not affected by that consolidation, you have the daily time frame with a very convincing upside pivot, and also a nice upside pivot on that SMA 14. Take a look at the buy daily time frame with an upside pivot as well. I will admit here that the buy daily time frame is in a bit of danger because it is within the gravitational zone of the overbought percentile, right? So this could lead for a temporary pullback, but we will go ahead and see how that reacts, because what we're observing here on the 5-day time frame is 100% very, very powerful, and this is something that we have been talking about since around $4 when we got this validation of a drive of hidden bullish divergence, which was confirmed slightly afterward. We have an aggressive upside pivot on the RSI signal and an aggressive upside pivot on the SMA 14. Not only that, is that the RSI signal is landing right inside of the gravitational zone of the bull strength percentile, likely to get pulled to the upside. But at any moment, just like we faced today, there could be a sell-off. There could be somebody, taking profits at any moment. So it's important for us to manage our risk, right? So know when to take profits, know when to compound, know when to come back in. All right. But first and foremost, know that I'm not a financial advisor. Please take whatever I do, show, and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. I need you to do your own due diligence, and everything will be cool. But with that said, team, I wish you well, a very, very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.